The 1420 Sports Podcast, four beer of sports talk and a whole lot more. Show number 204 on May the 24th. Actually, May 24, Dave. The long weekend is come and gone past us. Busy weekend for myself. I had the CCBC championships of baseball here in Lethbridge at Spitz Stadium. I'll call it Henderson until the day I die. Exciting weekend. I had 8 games overall. You were out camping and romancing and having a good time with the boys out at Park Lake, just east of town here. How was the weekend? What was the weather like? Did you drink some beers? Did you have a good time? What was going on? Tell me what's happening, Dave.
Well, it was fine. Like I told you last week, the forecast for Friday, which was obviously setup day, was a little daunting, cold, wet. So we chose to go on Saturday morning, which was the correct choice. Kaylee, Josh, and myself dragged our trailer out, set her all up, started drinking beers, visiting, having fun, letting the kids, just being at a campground and not having to tell your kid to get outside and find some friends to play with. Like it's nice sitting there being a little bit lazy and just watching kids horse around and be kids for a little bit. It's a little bit. They did 2 full days of it. The weather cooperated. No precipitation. Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy days. It was good to sit outside and play some cards, drink some beers, and tell some stories.
Tell some stories like we do here in the 1420 podcast. Like I said earlier, Dave, I had the CCBC championship. Congratulations to the Okanagan University College Coyotes or Coyotes or whatever they call it. How do you say it? Is it Coyote or Coyote?
I say Coyotes.
I'm going to call them the Coyotes, but good group of kids. Congratulations to them for winning the CCBC championship yesterday at Spitz. 5-0 victory for them in a game, a championship game. It was just under 2 hours to play. Pitching was fantastic. Defense was great. All in all, it was a great ball game. It was one of the best ones I've been a part of since I got back in the game in 2019. It was a really fun weekend. All in all, championship game yesterday was myself at second base, Brandon Olberg from Coaldale. He was on home plate. Blaise LeVay from Kelowna was on first, and Sean Weatherall from Vancouver was on third base. Crew did okay. We had a fun weekend on the ballpark. Pretty good bunch of umpires. I had a little situation, Dave. I think it was on Friday night where I was umpiring first base. It was Victoria versus the Lethbridge team, the PBA, and there was a line shot first inning, bottom of the first, coming right at me. And I saw it coming, but I saw the way the ball was tailing away. It was going to be a fair ball, but then the ball hit the top of the bag and it spun the other way and hit me and knocked me right on my ass. So it's a fair ball. It took away a double from the kid from PBA, but he ended up scoring anyway. So it didn't factor in the game. But other than my pride being hurt really badly, it didn't affect the game. Just my pride was hurt a little bit.
Where'd it catch you?
Right in the shin.
Oh, in the shin, and it dropped you, eh? Just
right in the shin, because I was jumping one way. I was going to land on the one foot because I darting out of the way, but when I hit the bag and it spun the other way, it threw me for a loop, and I was fucked.
Well, you got a bruise there now, or
no? No, my pride was hurt so bad, the rest of me couldn't be hurt. It was just one of those things. Got a good kick out of it halfway through the game because. Good thing the kids scored. That didn't affect the game at all, but it did. Like I said, my pride was hurt quite a bit, and just the way it goes. Anyways, Dave, we'll get into the baseball world this weekend. Of course, once again, the president of Josh Donaldson fan club. When I first heard the news that we'll do the backstory. Tim Anderson, shortstop for the White Sox, is a hell of a player. He's a great ball player. Him and Donaldson had a little set too a couple weeks back in Chicago where they were pushing each other on the base pass and whatever and beaking off each other. And then it happened again on, I think it was a Saturday. Doesn't matter what day of the week it was. Anderson and Donaldson were beaking off each other again. And then after the game was done, Tony La Russa and Anderson both made a statement that Josh Donaldson, the president of Josh Donaldson fan club, made a racist statement by calling him Jackie. Donaldson, as soon as he got a chance to talk, he went in front of the press and said, "No, okay, listen. Here's the backstory to this. In 2019, Anderson made a statement that he was going to do the next Jackie Robinson of baseball. Since then, he's made several references that said, hey, Jackie, like because Donaldson's an agitator. All of a sudden, this thing comes out 2 years later or 3 years later now, I guess it is, since 2019, that Donaldson is a racist and making racist remarks. Dave, do you think Josh Donaldson making this statement about Jackie, now that you hear the backstory, do you think it was a racist comment? And do you think, like, when you first heard that Donaldson called him Jackie, what were your two thoughts on the two systems before?
When I first read the story, I couldn't quite figure it out because from what I had read, this Anderson kid had referenced himself as he wants to be the next Jackie Robinson, which is an outlandish thing to say. Like, Jackie Robinson is an icon and a pioneer, and to compare yourself to him as a young player is absolutely, I think, ridiculous. Josh Donaldson calling him Jackie, I think that's actually a pretty good chirp, because
I think it's a great chirp.
Because if you want to self-gloss, then that's totally on you to be able to accept any kind of retribution, mocking, or shit talk from the other team. And that's what Donaldson does. And far be it for me to defend Josh Donaldson. I think he's a D-bag from way back when, where I think I'm fairly on record as far as that goes. But as far as this one goes, I don't know how you can construe it as racism. I don't know every word that was said by Donaldson, but if it was just calling this Anderson kid Jackie, then that's not racist. It just simply isn't. It's mocking him for comparing
setting his goals rather lofty.
Right. You know, like if someone comes up to the NHL and says, like, you just call me Gretz. Just call me Gretz.
Well, let's turn the tides here a little bit here, and let's just say that Josh Donaldson made a statement when he came to the Yankees, where he's going to say, "I'm going to be the next Mickey Mantle," and Anderson come and said, "Hey Mick, how's it going?" To me, that's what they were doing. Like, in my opinion, that's what Donaldson was doing in that kind of realm of chirping. I don't think it was racist. And how La Russa and Anderson can come out and twist things, because now, no matter what, once you're called a racist, Dave, you're a racist. People will call you that. Donaldson can do nothing right now. Like, he can say whatever he wants, but someone calls you a racist, man, that's a tough thing to get away from.
When I first heard about it, like, that's what I had read. Like, it was just on the Twitter machine, right? So you can't really dig into it. But since then I have read about it, and I do believe the racist underpinnings have gone away. Like, no one's calling him a racist still. I think that's just not. And then I'm just saying what I've read, and from it hasn't got any further. And the fact that, I guess you got, Donaldson, like, 162 games, and they gave him a game suspension. I don't agree with that either, because once again, you're just shit talking the opposition. But also, once again, with 162 games in a year, that's like, in NBA, you can't start the game. You have to wait till the first whistle.
Two things on that, Dave. Donaldson got more of a suspension for whatever you want to call it, for a comment. He got more of a suspension from Major League Baseball than any of the Astros got.
I knew you were going to say that, but
and part two, when Major League Baseball did, they never really came out and said he's suspended for a racist comment. He was suspended for reason Q. Who knows?
Unprofessional conduct.
So every time that somebody chirps somebody and comes out and the bench is clear, which they did, and a bunch of pushing and like baseball bullshit brawl, which is every time pretty much, every time something happens, has the precedent been set where they can just say whatever post game and get a guy suspended?
Who knows? Who knows? Like the fact that it's Josh Donaldson, it makes it a lot easier to suspend him because you never really can trust what comes out of his mouth. Not calling him a racist. I'm not suggesting for a moment he said anything like that. But I will agree that he did say something to get underneath the skin of an opposing player, which is
That's
kind of
part of the game.
that's part of the game. And maybe it's like I don't understand how someone can call themselves Jackie or like say I'm the next Jackie and sully the name of one of the baseball pioneers. And then when he gets called on that by being called Jackie by an opposing player, I don't you're asking for the abuse and let's get a little bit thicker skin there, Mr. Anderson, and shut him up. Shut him up.
Yeah, I don't understand what his reasoning to come out and say something that, yeah, okay, maybe he doesn't like it. You know what? I don't like being called Ukrainian or whatever. You know, I don't like being called things either, but it's to get under a guy's skin. That's how you get under a guy's skin. That's how you win ball games sometimes, or hockey games, or whatever. It's gamesmanship. And I don't. And then me and Jan were talking about this yesterday when they said that that they were suspending Donaldson, and I told Deanne the backstory about what was going on. She said, "There's no way Donaldson's that smart to make that kind of a comment to be racist. Like, he's not that smart of a guy, from what I take from interviews and everything in the past. I don't think he's smart enough to make that correlation between a racist comment and calling a guy Jackie Robinson."
You know what? Or he is dumb enough. I think he is dumb enough. I think he has the wherewithal. He's talked enough shit in his life that he knows when he's getting under somebody's skin. And if he knows that this is going to be bothering the guy, then he's going to keep going. He's going to keep piling on. And maybe it couldn't have been just, hey, Jackie. It had to have been more. And then maybe that's where the racist connotations has come in. But for that, I do not know. We're just guessing. But Anderson has to have been
right now. Neither of us know whether it was Donaldson being racist, whether we don't know that it was Anderson and LaRussa playing games on their side of things. We don't know, but I just think that something. I just think that it got blown out of proportion. It's something we shouldn't be talking about today, but it seems to carry on because, and this is a societal issue now, Dave, is that now little things become big things, and then the big things get forgotten about because of these situations. Like when things are actually racist, people are like, oh, whatever, man. Like, I'm so tired of hearing about this. It becomes a societal thing when the little things become so massive. Yes, it's the Yankees, and I get it, but it just seems like this is why the big things actually get left behind, because people get tired of talking about it.
Yeah, it's not untrue when there's so much shit being slung through the news cycle every single day, and you just got to wade through it, and then the big ones. There's so much attention being paid to 100 little things by 100 different people. Now you have 100 people that should care a lot about one thing, but their attention's divided amongst all the little shit that really doesn't matter. And if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Like,
Exactly.
let's stop. And that's the one thing I'm careful about it myself when I'm on the Twitter machine, because every now and then I do a culling. I follow different people. I try to follow people from all walks and points of view, but there comes a time and place where, like, if someone who is just, I don't understand the analytics of Twitter now, how all this crap I don't follow ends up on my feed. But when you get some certain things like Redlinsky likes, and then so it'll come onto my feed. Crap like that, not you specifically, but it comes on and like, oh, maybe it's time to start unfollowing this person. And it's not because they have a different point of view. It's just because
the analytics, the way it rolls. Like, I don't know how it
analytics.
works. Like, I don't know how it works either, but it's odd. because I have a work phone and then my own personal phone, and I have Twitter on both machines, and I can have them both going at the same time, and there's different things going on at the exact same time on the exact same Twitter account. It's really
Yeah.
bizarre how it works. I wish I knew more about it. I mean, we've been doing this for 2 years now, and I probably should learn how to work it and manage it and everything else, and figure out how it does work, because it does fuck things up, because you click on one thing and that's all you see for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And then the ads are tailored to that and what have you. And so it's just, I'm always careful, like, especially like, the promoted tweets, like, oh, that sounds, oh, and then you'll scroll down a little bit more and it's promoted. Like, I never click on the promoted tweets. I keep going but then you touch one thing about how someone's stupid, or like someone will screenshot something and then you're like, holy cow, like that's a ridiculous thing to say, but then you go and find it so you can get a little bit of context, and all of a sudden now you're getting shit out of that guy's timeline, and it's frustrating. It's a minefield, and I'm just doing it to try and stay informed and look for different opinions on different topics, sports being one of those topics, and I can put up with all the bad sports takes in the world, but once you start drifting into conspiracy theories and
And social political things that shouldn't belong in the world of sports. Actually, we'll talk about that in a second, Dave. Maybe next time we'll get into that a little bit. But it is weird how, like, it's the funny thing about what happened on, I don't even know what day it was Saturday or Sunday, because long weekend days just go away, and I was busy and I was away from the Twitter machine for most of the weekend, and didn't turn the news on because I was at the ball field all weekend long, which was nice. And it was nice to be away. It was actually nice to be away from it all. Like, nothing mattered, and it was nice. Like, it was just the games in front of me that were live. That's what mattered, and the conversations in the dressing room about the games, and we talked about actual sports, not the stuff. And then we kind of made the point that we talked about the Donaldson thing a little bit. Yeah, it was Sunday morning, and then Blaze said, really good guy. He's a super guy. He made a point. He goes, "This is a non-story, and it'll be gone by Monday morning." But it's not, because it became a race thing, and so that's why I kept going. Right? It's odd how usually you can wait 2 days, and then the flavor of the day is gone because somebody else can do something stupid. But when it comes to racism and everything else, it shouldn't go away. But there's some that are more important in that story than what occurred on Saturday.
Yeah, that's true. Because we mentioned, we will be talking about it later on in the show. Just how Kadri got treated for an innocuous play, an unfortunate play, but like he got. Now that's something that the Twitter machine should clamp down on. But let's talk about it in a bit.
We'll get that in a second here, Dave. Yeah, it's that's a whole nother. I guess it's going to be more political show for after a long weekend than I thought it was going to be, but I think there's important things we need to talk about. Anyways, 1420 Sports Podcast. We're happy to be teaming up with Belly Up Sports right away. Got a few things. We're going to be on their network. They're going to help promote the show, get us going. I got a few things I got to fill out, and we got all kinds of things going on. Got 2 new T-shirts that we debuted. I think it was on Saturday morning or Friday morning. Like I said, the weekend kind of always runs into one another. We got the 1420 clock, and we also have the Smart People Bunt T-shirts going. So if you want one, get a hold of us on the Twitter account or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, or 1420sports@gmail.com. We'll get a shirt out to you anytime as soon as you want one. Tell us your size. They come in just the colors you see on the social media accounts, and we'll go from there. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. Dave, we're going to get into the racism thing again tonight. I'm not laughing at him, just trying to get my words all straightened out here. But racism it ain't going away. It ain't going away anytime soon, and it will never go away, which is a sad state considering how much more educated we're supposed to be as a society. But over the weekend, Nazem Kadri of the Colorado Avalanche, who's having one hell of a playoff, he's going to get himself paid. That boy, he had a good season with the Colorado Avalanche. Kadri collision with Jordan Binnington, went to the net. 2 guys went to the net hard. I can't remember the name of the defenseman for Colorado. Doesn't much matter. Binnington's out for the series. Bennington had a hissy fit after the game. Colorado, he threw the water bottle at Kadri when he was during his post game interview. I think that was a classless move to start with. Then you get into speaking of classless, let's get into the St. Louis Blues fans. There's 3 classless moves here. Bennington 1, the St. Louis Blues fans 2, and then Craig Berube and the St. Louis Blues organization for not denouncing the whole situation. We'll get into that in a second here. But over the weekend, Nazem Kadri social media accounts got flooded with a lot of racist comments. Kadri, as you may or may not know, is Muslim, and the racial slurs and awful things were getting sent over his social media account. One thing I do like is that they aren't blanking out the people's names who were sending those racial slurs, everything else. Dave, why the hell would why the hell would somebody send those messages over to someone, a famous person's social media account? And 2, why haven't the St. Louis Blues and Craig Berube, when asked about the situation, why haven't they come out and said, hey, Blues fans, maybe quit fucking doing this?
First of all, I Twitter, Instagram, whatever this is happening on, like it's you put it out there and you hit send. Now your name is on that. You can't take that back. You can delete it, but like someone may have screenshot it, like something. It's out there, and if you don't pull it back, even if you do pull it back, it could be recorded by somebody. So just think about if this is how you want yourself to be portrayed to the world, and then like that someone can show this to you. You're allowed to be a fan without being a racist piece of shit. You're allowed to be upset that that player crashed into your goalie. You're allowed to say, the Blues are going to get you next game. You better have your head on a swivel. The Blues are going to get, not Maroons, someone is going to get you, Kadri. You're not allowed to say, I hope you fucking die. You're not allowed to say,
you're not allowed to say you fucking Muslim. You're not.
The fucking filth that these people are putting out there. Like, do they honestly think that they're getting into Kadri's head with this and wrecking him? Like
he rammed it right up their ass last night.
He did ram it right up their ass, and it's absolutely disgusting. Like, these fans should just like check themselves, absolutely check themselves. It's you're taking it too seriously. I'm sorely disappointed in the Blues organization not saying something about this kind of vitriol that is being directed at them. It's not just fans being fans. It's hate speech, and it's race-based hate speech. And if you want to be the force for change, you call out these people by name. You put that on your St. Louis Blues Twitter account. This
guy did this. This guy did this. This guy's probably going to lose his job if it gets out.
Exactly.
And I think that, like, if they're season ticket holders or something, like, you don't have season tickets anymore. You don't.
Goodbye.
And it's disappointing. Craig Berube, who's of Indigenous descent, he's Canadian. I believe he's from Saskatchewan. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it doesn't really matter. He's probably faced racism throughout his life when he was growing up here in Western Canada, because that's a thing. I'm not saying it's a right thing, but it is a thing. For him to not say anything when asked by the media about it, shame on him.
Yeah, he's playing this all wrong, because I understand that it's a coach's job to put the blinders on and blame the refs, and I can't believe the league didn't suspend him. Stop it. Your guy took him in. It was a hard play. It's an unfortunate play, but it wasn't dirty. It was hard, and it was unintentional. And Billington's hurt, and that hurt their chances. But at the end of the day, Colorado's a better team.
It ain't close.
And it's not close. And to try and have this as the unifying factor, the bulletin board for your team. Like, we got to get him. We got to make him pay. It's absolute garbage. Like they're more worried about trying to send a message to Kadri than actually playing the game. That garbage in last night's game after
if Kadri does one of those things that was happening to him, getting cross-checked in the face and hit from behind and everything else, if Kadri does those things, because he's a repeat offender, he has done some stupid things in the playoffs in the past when he was with the Leafs. If Kadri does those things himself to one of the Blues players, Kadri's getting 2 or 3 games.
for sure, because he has a track record. But like, that like the play was over and he got cross-checked from behind and then another guy came at him after Kadri scored that one goal. Perron tried to elbow him in the head.
Yeah.
Like if Perron doesn't have to sit out the next game, the league has dropped the ball because this has gone too fucking far. I don't understand if these players are now just feeding off the fans' hate, or is this their thing? He's not the reason you're losing. He's not. Like, this play against Bennington, like, was a hard, clean play.
I 100% agree. I thought it was a hard go to the net hard, and that was it. I don't think it was dirty. I don't think it was malicious. I don't think it was anything. Like, and I'm not a Kadri guy because I'm a Leafs fan, and he took some really bonehead penalties in the playoffs in the past. So, like, for that reason, I'm not a Kadri guy. I'm not a fan of his. He's a hard player and a good player, but they're on a mission right now to win the Stanley Cup in Colorado, and he's not going to do anything stupid because there's a leadership group there that'll be like, hey man, toe the line, we have a chance here. Don't do anything stupid. And he's playing hard, and he proved it last night. He got a couple goals.
Well, you got a hat trick. You got a hat trick.
Sorry, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and good for him responding that way, because that shows the maturity that he has now that he did not have in Toronto, because he was a loose cannon and he did hurt his team a lot when he was in Toronto. That's why he's not there anymore. And also, I'm sure his agent is phoning him up after every fucking shift.
You're getting paid, man.
Stay in your shoes. Do not blow this. Do not blow this, because he's
on pace to probably get 7.5, 8 a year.
Yeah, he's a difference maker. He's a hell of a hockey player. He just had a 2-cent head. It appears that he's grown up and he's playing some great hockey right now. Like I said, he's a difference maker in the biggest of games. And so, good on him. I was never a fan of him because of the A, because he was a Leaf, and B, because he was such a bonehead with the Leafs. But in his 2 years with the Avs, he's really proved his worth, and he's set to make some bank right now. And
I understand, Dave. Like I don't understand. At what point, like they're human beings. It was more on his wife's social media account, I believe.
No, she published.
She retweeted or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're human beings and they're kids, millennials, or whatever you want to call whatever age group they are, and they want to be part of the world and everything else. Because social media is a big part, like we talked about last segment. But man, I'd be thinking twice if I was a professional athlete about having a social media account. Or I'd have a burner account of whatever, just so I could follow and laugh and joke around. Because Twitter, 80% is bullshit, 20% is fun, right? Like it is. Like there's a lot of stuff you just scroll through. We don't even read half the shit that's on there. But most of it is bullshit, and 20% is fun. So you can't expect these young adults. So Twitter's part of the world, Facebook's part of the world, Instagram's part of the world. But man, if I was a celebrity, I'd be thinking twice where I would have a social media account.
Yeah, you have to have a thick skin if you're going to be in the public eye and run your own Twitter machine, because there's going to be haters. No matter who you are, you can lead the squeakiest, cleanest life ever, and be the best guy ever, and you're going to have haters, especially if you're in sports. People are going to hate you because of the jersey you wear. And maybe that is because maybe that leads to, I'm not excusing it, but just thinking out loud, your blood runs so hot for the team that you cheer for. So if you're not a Blue, then you suck. And then what else? You play for the Avs, you suck. That's getting old. So what else can I pick on? And those of limited intelligence the first thing they're going to go to is skin color, right? And then it just shows that there's so much more work
Unbelievable.
to be done. It is so unbelievable, and you know, I was no, I wasn't the person to be modeled after in my teens and early 20s. I wasn't. I was I didn't think I was racist, but my mouth sure spoke a different thing. And now that when I became enlightened, when I became more I don't know the word, just smarter, more emotionally mature to realize and just broaden my horizons.
David, I don't think you could,
It became
I don't think it was I don't think it was racist overtones. It was just because we were just young and stupid and said dumb things that we thought
so
were funny. But I
yeah.
don't think it was racist. Like, I don't think, I don't know. Okay. I don't, how do I word this without sounding like a complete fucking jackass at the age of 47? I don't know or run into circles with enough different cultures, because we're two white Canadian boys from Southern Alberta. So
We're pretty Southern Alberta where we're born and raised.
So
It's
we, like, from when we grew up back in the 80s and the 70s, 80s and 90s, we didn't have color. Yes, there's
80.
Native Americans, but in general, or Native Canadians, sorry, but in general, we didn't have any other cultures to even say we like or dislike. We're just, this is what we are. So for us to be
Exactly.
in our soapbox now at the age of 47 and 52, or 51, sorry, it's kind of different. 52. It is kind of, it's hard for us to people take us seriously because we're just a couple of white guys from Southern Alberta. But I think that by us talking about it, it actually just, if one kid listens to this who's in the age of 18 or 20 or whatever, and they can say, okay, maybe don't be a fuckhead, is what it comes down to.
Right. If you think the problem is color, then the problem is with you. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just how it is. Like, just you gotta grow the fuck up. There's so many more bigger things that have to be dealt with in the world right now. There's shit going on, and now this racism thing, it's still there. It's still real. It's being propagated all over the place, like Canada, US. It's there. It's a real thing, and like-minded people are able to congregate better now because of social media, and you can exchange ideas, hateful ideas, with people of similar small-mindedness, and that's a real detriment to the social technological world that we're living in right now. It makes it too easy to find people with the same mindset as you.
Yeah.
And there's also now organizations that prey upon the simple-mindedness of people and use your simple-mindedness to forward their own cause. And it's whether it be a grift for money, whether it be just I don't know. I don't know what makes the people tick that run these fucking things. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't,
it's not for the betterment of anything. And that's what pisses me off a little bit.
well, it's just like when you go to a sporting event, the racial overtones, they're there sometimes, and sometimes it's the same race versus same race. It's just a lot of things that are said that are awful. Most sports fans aren't like that, which is why I can take some solace in that it's not everyone who's a bad, like, it's just, once again, it takes a few bad apples or bananas to spoil the whole bunch. And it's sad that it goes like that, because not every St. Louis Blues fan is racist. Not every New York Yankees fan is racist. Not every player who plays for the Yankees is racist. Like, it's just too bad that it gets to that, and it should go away, and it's not. And we should be at a stage in society now that it shouldn't even be a thing, but it seems to be a thing more and more every day, and it's sad.
Yep, and with things like this, I hope these people that are being brought to light, like uttering these threats against Kadri, I want their bosses to see that. I want their neighbors to
Yeah.
know what kind of person this person is. Because if you're taking the time to put your name on filth like that, I I want to know. And
Yeah.
like it's not like, well, I said it when I was angry. No, you thumbed it out. You can't type. I know you can't type. So it took you a minute or two. You proofread it because you spelled every fucking word right, and you hit send, and that's
There's
your
a
name at the top.
there's a thing in the umpire world, I think, that it's pause, read, react. See it, watch it, make a call. Pause, read, react. Because if a ball's dribbling away and you call a guy out, you feel like an asshole. Society should take that. Pause. If you think it, okay, maybe I shouldn't put this out there. Or, oh, I'm really not that mad. It's just a fucking hockey game. Because you know what? It's just a fucking hockey game. Like to have your life possibly destroyed and lose your job or whatever because you're mad at a hockey player about something, a guy that you're never going to meet, and that of a series that the chances are that team wasn't going to win anyways in the St. Louis Blues. That's fucking stupid.
It's fucking so stupid. And maybe that's it. Write your from now on, just write your tweets down on paper, set a timer for 20 minutes, and if it's still you want to do it, then type it out. Set your timer for another hour, and then go back. Like,
I mean, who
give
you
your
are is who you are, but whatever. Yeah, it's odd.
whatever. Like, it's just there's no place for it as fans and in society. But like, just good God, get a fucking grip and figure out what's important in your life, because hurling insults at the any, like, regardless of the racial tones of these things, you you got better things to do.
Yeah.
And I've sent the odd chirp to the very odd athlete. It has been done, but it wasn't hate filled, I hope you die type stuff. It's just I try and elicit a laugh. That's not from the player that I'm shit
Yeah.
talking, but from my followers.
No, I get that. Like maybe that's if Dave, if you were an athlete, would you be a protected account that only guys that you followed you would get tweets from? Like, how would you, if you were an athlete, what would you do with your
I'd
social
probably
media?
I'd open it up, and then every now and then I'd go through, because I would screenshot some and put them out there and embarrass these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, I would motherfuck some people. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, yeah. Get a load of this cheese eating high school boy,
Yeah.
thinking he's better than me, right? So it's something you can have fun with, and just, it's like anything. It's no different than reading the newspaper. You can always put it down. Obviously, the notifications are off, but every now and then you just take a trip down and see if I want to stir up some shit with the opposition team members
With the
tonight.
common folk or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old you pay to watch me play, shut up, pigeon, whatever. Like, it's one of those things would be kind of fun to throw once in a while. Anyways, 1420 Sports Podcast, four beer with sports talk, and a whole lot more. 1420 Sports Podcast, four beer with sports talk, and a whole lot more. Dave, we'll get off the I had another thing I wanted to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about it to our next show, with the Texas shootings and everything. We've been a little bit deeper than we usually are in the 1420 Sports Podcast. But Friday night, after I got off the ball field, went over to Boston Pizza on the west side there, and watching the hockey game. It was a 50-50 split with Oilers and Flames fans inside inside the bar there. Good atmosphere, lots of fun was being had. Considering what was going on after game one with the 9-6 victory, the Oilers came back and they won game two. And Connor McDavid, my Lord, like, you hate to fawn over the guy because it's all you hear on the broadcast, Connor McDavid. But there's a reason. That fucker's pretty good.
He does shit that you wouldn't think was possible. It's almost if the video game Connor McDavid, the way he played on the last two games in game 2 and game 3, it would be unfair to have him on a video game. He was that fucking good. He was unstoppable. And I get it that athletes, even of his ilk and talent level, can't play with that kind of, they can't be on turbo all the time. I remember this one basketball game I played on Sony every now and then. And if you hit 2 or 3 shots in a row, you got on fire and then you couldn't miss.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. Like that was Connor McDavid. Like if he got the puck, he's just like, fuck it. Like we might as well just get off the bench so I don't take a minus on this shift.
Like Dave, I understand that athletes now are just better than they were 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. I get it. I totally understand that. Their nutrition's better, their fitness is better, they're more dedicated to their sport. They don't go to training camp to get in shape. Their nutrition, all of it is they're just better. From when they're young, everything else, it's just a different, athletes are just different now. Connor McDavid is the best hockey player to ever live. I'm not saying the greatest, because he's not Lemieux or Gretzky or even Crosby. He's not even the best goal scorer in the league right now, because that's Austin Matthews, and Ovechkin's still there too. But he is, like, from what I've seen, I've been watching this game for 42 years, 43, 44 years, whatever it was when I first started watching hockey when I was a young, strapping young lad in Fort McLeod. But the stuff that guy does, he's the best to ever play the game, and it's not. I don't think it's disputable.
It's jaw dropping. Like he continually amazes, and that's what's amazing. Like it's not just one highlight a week or a month. It's like sometimes 2-3 highlights in a game where he does something that you didn't even think it was a play. Like his skill level and his hockey IQ is so ridiculously off the charts that it's kind of unfair when he gets on a heater. Because what do you do? He's making the best hockey players in the planet look a little silly.
It's something to watch. It's people who don't watch hockey. Like we got some listeners down in the States who don't watch a lot of hockey, but then they see this guy play, and our loyal listener, fan of the van, Jim, the Fan of the Van podcast. He's a Rangers guy, and I hope he watches some Oilers game once in a while to watch how good this McDavid is, because it's something to behold, and he's only going to get better. Like he's only going to get better for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, like it stands to reason. I don't know how you can get better, but he's going to get a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and it's not impossible. And he's putting the team on his back. No one going to be saying this. He didn't show up for the playoffs this year, because he was a little bit criticized last year against the Jets, but there shall be no criticism. 23 points in 10 playoff games. Like it's the best after 10 games ever.
Well, because 1 year Crosby won the scoring title for the playoffs, like an entire playoffs, and he had 19 points in 20 whatever games that took, or 18 games or whatever it was, and he's at 23 already. Like he's gonna be touching Gretzky status here soon if the Oilers can keep going. They got a 3-2 lead after 2 tonight. The Battle of Alberta been entertaining. I gotta say, I'm completely shocked. I had the Flames in 5 when we talked about this last week. And it ain't Flames in 5, man. It could be Oilers in 5. This could be over by Thursday night.
It's not impossible. We'll see what happens here. Obviously, the Oilers have to win tonight. But it was funny. One of the fellows I was camping with had a TV mounted on the side of his RV, and we were able to stream the game, and so we watched it outside in the campground
That's fun.
On Saturday night. Yeah, it was. So was that Saturday night or Sunday night? Sunday night.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool, and to be watching out there, And someone, not from our, well, kind of a periphery on the group. Oh, so everybody Flames fan here? And I go, I'm not. Oh, so you're cheering for the Oilers? Not really. And if you've ever had to try and describe a divorce from from a professional sports team to someone who's not really a sports fan, well,
Yeah.
then don't you want them to do bad? No, because my disdain for the Flames is still higher for my disdain for the Oilers, and I don't hate them.
Well, we've
The
discussed it
Oilers,
before. Like,
yeah,
if you and Kaylee got divorced, you still have Jasper together. So
yeah.
you don't want bad things to happen to your ex, because you still need your ex to take care of the other things, right? So you don't want bad, but you're like, I don't care a whole bunch, but I still need good to happen, right?
I would rather they do good, but now I don't invest the emotional energy. I don't have.
Like,
I'm
you're not
not.
grabbing fucking voodoo dolls, but
No.
but
But
you're not
I'm not
you're not
hucking shit if they lose either.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, okay, man, you succeeded, right on. I don't care, whatever. Yeah.
I'm happy for you, but like I can share in your joy, and I can.
You aren't sending engagement gifts to the next.
No.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Whoever, like Ken Holland and McClellan and whoever they've been firing and hiring in the last 10 years, like they don't. They're not on the Christmas list. So.
Oh, it's been crazy how this series has gone. I'm quite shocked at it's where it's at. I just unbelievable. It has been nice. There hasn't been any shenanigans happening around Southern Alberta, to my knowledge, which I thought there was going to be. Dave, I haven't seen how's Red Deer doing?
Oh, Red Deer is the tire fire of Alberta as far as that. No, like it's just that's if shit's gonna happen, that's where it's gonna be.
I haven't heard anything negative coming out of Red Deer because of the battle of Alberta, so we're doing
No.
okay. We'll see how it goes after the next couple of nights. But anyways, it's been exciting. The play's been good. We're at the halfway point. Basically, the teams are going to advance. The Rangers came back. They're 2-2 now. The Tampa's a wagon, eh? Like they just said, go away, Florida.
How did Florida not show up for this? I do not get that. Like Florida has a lot of navel gazing going on today.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even. This is the matchup you wanted. You were ready for him. This year's our year, and you don't even fucking show up.
Nothing.
Wow. You know what's a real travesty? That might have been Joe Thornton's last game in the NHL,
and nobody cared.
And Claude Giroux. Like it's just one of those players where everybody always tells you how good he is,
and doesn't really do anything.
And then when the rubber hits the road, you don't hear a peep out of him.
One cool stat I saw today, David, this is more of our vintage back in the 80s, was the amount of playoff series that consecutive playoff wins. Obviously, the New York Islanders won 16 in a row. That's a feat in itself to win 16 playoff rounds. Yes, they won 4 cups, and I know how math works, but Tampa's at 10. They got to win 6 more rounds to match that record. That's a pretty tall task, man.
Did you see who was right behind the Islanders in that? Pat Maroon. Because he won the 4.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he won with St.
Louis, and then he hasn't lost a play.
So he's probably at 13 now, or whatever the fuck, or 12 or whatever. Yeah,
he has 4 more than Tampa. Yeah,
there you go. No, it's been interesting. Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. If you're planning on going to a game, use SeatGeek or the SeatGeek app, and use promo code 1420pod. That is 1420pod for $20 off your tickets. Don't use them for the hockey tickets. Use them for baseball tickets. You actually won't even pay anything because you get $20 off your ticket price, and you can go enjoy the game and park for free or beer money.
Yeah, just do it that way, because if you the prices are so outrageous for the playoffs. for
Yeah,
Stanley
20
Cup
bucks,
playoffs.
20 bucks ain't gonna save you 440, right?
In the Battle of Alberta, these tickets are kind of premium pricing right now, and so yeah,
Everything's
save it.
500 bucks. Everything's
Yeah,
500 minimum. Yeah.
yeah. So save it for a ball game and get yourself a hot dog and a beer.
Dave, later on this week, we'll be getting our Manscaped packages. We'll try out whatever they're sending us. We'll have a review of the Manscaped things later on with manscaped.com. Looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, looking forward because I'm not a manscaper, so I'm more of a natural man. So we'll see if I can be converted by whatever they send us. Maybe it's
They're
just a
sending
nice
us some different
conditioner.
stuff. They're sending shirts and underwear and stuff. I don't even know. Find out when it gets here. 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. SeatGeek, Bodog, Manscaped, and there's more to come. The 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. Dave, our schedule is going to be a bit rattled up in the next couple of weeks because I have the WCBL season starting on Thursday night with the Mitch Ball game. A friend of mine, a fellow umpire, passed away due to COVID 2 years, 2 years, Jesus, 2 years ago now. So a year ago, but doesn't matter. But we have the Mitch Ball game at Spit Stadium here in Lethbridge on Thursday night. Then I'm doing first base on Friday night. I got a game in Brooks, and so the umpiring business is back. It's going to be a little hectic, so we'll figure our work schedule, make sure we're getting shows out to our fans and our followers and our listeners, everything else. But summertime's a busy time of year. You got birthdays and Jasper and you and Kaylee and Whitefish and things. It's a busy time of year, man. It's good though.
It is
It's
good.
good.
You know, it's things come to life in the spring. It's not we have daylight till 10:30 at night now, so the people are out doing shit, which is a good thing. It's nice to be outside. It's the one thing that the one thing. There's more than that, but spring gets us out of the house, and Lord knows with all the stuff that we've been doing with between baseball and these birthdays and stuff, my yard needs some goddamn maintenance. If you're bored tomorrow, bring down that dandelion puller. I got some dandelions for you, brother.
Well, we might be able to pull that off. I got to go pick up a plaque and run down that side of the world anyway, so I might be able to do that. No, there's lots going on, especially the last couple of years with the COVID and everything else. It's nice to be able to not put it behind us because it hasn't gone away completely, and don't want to go out there and get monkeypox, Dave. That might be a bad thing.
Oh Christ!
I can't believe it.
Why not?
Which one are you? Okay, I'm 0%. This will happen to me, but I think I have a better chance of getting stung by a murder hornet than I do of getting monkeypox.
Monkeypox seems to be a pretty small little window of misfortune. But the fact that whatever 30 people in Massachusetts and 20 people in Nova Scotia have it right now, like there's pockets of it. So I don't know how you catch it. It looks disgusting. The warts you get on, like
I'll just stay down here in the tavern. Then when I do go outside, I'll hit the ball field when I'm outside. Hopefully everybody's got their monkeypox vaccine or whatever. But down here in the tavern, I'm safe. I'm good. I can't see it happening. Dave, I got a would you rather, had a couple of them. Actually, I'll do this one first. Would you rather be the star of a bad team or an average player on an elite team?
How old am I?
27.
Average on elite. Average on elite. Like I just gave the perfect example, Claude Giroux, right? Like but I guess Florida's not elite either. Like he can be the big dog on a shit team all day, and like what's it good for? Like where's it getting you? You might be getting your points and but at the end of the day, the fans in your city want to see you win. They don't want to see you achieve personal accolades. You want to win. Everybody, like anyone that's ever played sports wants to win. And I understand then how you could be a big dog on a shit team like Steve Nash in Columbus. What eventually all those guys won out. They want a chance to win. Just give me a chance to win.
Like you think of the Bulls teams back in the '90s, like a guy like Paxson.
Yeah.
See, you get a chance to make the shot. You get a chance to win a championship. Get on an elite, and basketball is a thing like that where a lot more than hockey is, where you got to have 2 or 3 lines going. When an average guy can help a little bit, but a basketball team, if you're an average guy that can get on an elite team, man, that's a gravy train you can ride forever.
Oh, for sure. There's guys who have 4 or 5 rings that we don't even know their fucking names. Like
Well, you think about it. Steve Kerr, the coach for the Golden State Warriors, he was an okay player,
yeah.
right? And now he became the coach of the Golden State Warriors, and he's a voice of reason throughout the league and everything else. And he's made a career of being an average player who ended up being an elite coach because of players that he coaches, right?
And
So
clearly, yeah, but like clearly
he's a smart guy.
And he went to the broadcast booth first, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I have no idea what his qualifications were to be, because he was a bit of a commodity. They tried pulling him, not they though, the Warriors. Other teams tried pulling him out of the booth to coach their team, but he waited, bided his time, waited for the perfect opportunity, and took it and ran with it. And I don't think there's anybody that would dispute his coaching abilities, because Warriors are there again, like, and this is 2-3 years down the road, and good for them, because I like him. I like the way his team plays. I like the way he communicates to his players. I like the way he communicates in his press conferences after the games.
We'll talk about him our next show we do. He made some good statements about the Texas shootings tonight. I was quite proud to be a sports fan, a guy of his clout, to come out and say what he said today. That could be a lot of people would think would be career suicide. But he came out and said it. And I thought it was quite classy what he got going on today. We'll talk about that on the next show. One more. Would you rather play an amazing game and lose, or play a less than subpar game and win?
Playoffs or regular season?
We'll do both. Playoffs first.
I'd rather have the awesome game where you did everything right. You were a difference maker on the team. And sometimes you just come up short. In the playoffs, I'd rather win.
Win, no matter what.
Even a regular season?
No, regular season, I don't care.
A regular season, I would take I don't know if it's the perfect game, like not pitching, but like, you had a hell of a game, and you can feel good about it, and you can feel good about the way you played and contributed.
Yeah.
And then whereas in the playoffs, you just want to win, and then you can take that fire that's in your belly, like, I should have done this, should have done this, should have done that. Sleep on it and then forget about it the next day. Because if you're thinking about shoulda, coulda, woulda, if you have any kind of negative thoughts in your head, you're not bringing the best you onto the field for that next game.
Because in a long season with like hockey's 82 games and baseball's 162, you can't be expected to be great every night. You can't. It's just it's not a thing. You're gonna have off nights no matter what. But in the playoffs, with basketball and baseball, the NHL, you got to put together 16 or 12 or whatever it is in the respective league. Playoffs, you want to win every night. And if I have a horse shit night, we still win, I'd rather that.
Yeah, because you have to, because that's, at the end of the day, that's how you're going to be judged now. And every win is so fucking important. It's hard to win four against another team.
That's why I'm always amazed. Like Tampa did it. I'm always amazed when there is a sweep in the playoffs, no matter what sport it is. I'm amazed by it, because winning, like in baseball, there's not very often there's a series sweep, like a 3-game weekend. There's not. It's usually 1 out of 2, 2 and 1, whatever it is. It's not very often. There's a lot of sweeps. It's tough to do, and when it happens in the playoffs, it shocks me because to make the playoffs, you got to be a pretty good team.
Yeah,
Like the President Cup champions got swept away. Like, go away.
especially in the second round,
Yeah.
right? Like, so in the first round, it's much more plausible than in the second round. These were they had the best record in the NHL, and they just bowed out. And I get that momentum's a thing in professional sports, but there's also being a professional and doing what you got to do.
Is Tampa just that good? Must
I
be.
get, or Florida just doesn't know how to respond to pressure. Like, I don't know. Like, how, like, so how shitty are the Washington Capitals then, right? Because Florida beat them in 6.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, Tampa
How good are the
beat,
Leafs?
yeah, and then like so the Leafs could have got one off.
Yeah, they still fucking lost, so it doesn't really much matter. Anyways,
it doesn't much matter at all. So like it just shows you the regular season is just for seeding. You never really know what's going to happen come playoffs because Florida's golfing. They're in a good place.
Yeah, they're already there.
Well, you can golf here. Like those Canadian boys can come home. Courses are open now.
Course open, everything's ready to go. Anyways, Dave, lots going on in the 1420 world. We got Bodog, we got Seat Geek, we got Manscaped coming up, we got t-shirts, we got everything going on. Busy summer months coming ahead. We'll keep putting content out there. You guys keep listening. We'll keep putting it out there. A lot of fun. Little bit deeper show tonight than we're usually used to, but maybe it's a Tuesday night. We'll the next one we do, we'll have a little more fun and we'll liven things up a little bit. But you know what? Sometimes you need to touch on the subjects of that matter. You do.
I agree with that. And these topics come to us. We don't search them out. It's on the headlines, and at the end of the day, we're both just fans, and our comments really mean shit. But as a fan, check yourself. Why are you a fan? Have fun, and don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Just don't be stupid.
A wise man once said that. I can't remember who said that. It was my dad, actually. He said, "Don't be stupid, boys. Don't be stupid."
Is that so fucking hard? Just don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid. Anyways, 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. Take care of each other, but more importantly, take care of yourself because we need you around. Keep your stick on the ice, and what else, Dave?
Don't swing at the high pitches, Jim.
Don't swing at high pitch, Jimmy. We'll talk to you guys again Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We don't even know. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Have a good night, folks. We'll talk to you again.
Just ask Alexa or Google or whoever. They'll let you know when we're out next.
There you go. Have a good night, folks. We'll talk to you later.